Good morning and welcome to Newswatch Today. I'm Cameron Lee.
And I'm Lilia Parks. The RSV medication for infants may be facing a shortage.
And Andy's Frozen Custard is making big moves to further the growth.
Aubrey Jackson is here with your forecast, and Preston Rosenberg has the latest in sports news. This is Newswatch Today.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Right now we have Aubrey Jackson to give us a first look at the weather.
Let's take a look at the forecast this week. We can see our current conditions are sunny and 34 degrees, so a little bit chilly, but it is going to get a little warmer this week, as we can see later on in the forecast. Our humidity is down to 68%, and our current conditions are sunny with a high of 60 degrees, so a little warmer than what we've had last week. We will take a look at it later on our forecast. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Aubrey. You know, I'm kind of hoping that the colder weather sticks around and the warmer weather starts to leave.
Yeah, I do appreciate the cold weather, but I'm all for a little bit of warm weather every now and then. But I guess we'll know a little bit more during her full forecast.
This past week, we saw the first of many low temperature level readings. The Community Partnership of the Ozarks kept a close eye on the forecast, along with the rest of the community, and even entertained the idea of opening their cold weather shelters earlier than usual. The only reason they didn't, according to the committee coordinator, Emily Fessler, was the lack of numbers in the volunteers, as well as the logistics of transportation and a few inspections that had not yet been ran. The typical season of operation for the program runs from November 1st until March 31st, pending any added unexpected days, this week almost being one of those exceptions. Last year, over 10,000 beds were put to use for those who needed shelter from the temperatures, as well as many warm meals and any clothing that might be needed. The organization is now fully operating for their winter season. Springfield pediatricians have reported a shortage of some doses of a newly approved drug given to infants to prevent the RSV infection. The drug is called Beyfortus, and it was approved by the FDA last July and is claimed to act as close to a vaccine as you can get without actually being one. With 11 doses given so far and only 4 left to give, Mercy Pediatrics says they look every day to order more, but simply can't find any more. For now, Mercy recommends that expecting mothers take a brand new vaccine that they can receive when they are pregnant that isn't as strong but is better than nothing.
Over this last weekend, Evangel students made a difference in their community. Here's reporter Nathan Amati with the story.
National Make a Difference Day took place October 28th in the local community. Evangel's Crosswalk hosted the event and was sponsored by EU Center for Compassion. Each year, students from Evangel participate in service projects to help support nonprofits who help the community.
So the end of the year is a really busy time for us. We have 2 of our largest events. So we have students that are behind us. Those are our detail-oriented friends. They are helping with cutting name cards and menus and things like that that are going to be on the tables for some of our donors that are in attendance at the annual fundraiser. And then we also have groups that are building furniture. And then we have another group that's wrapping diapers. So wrapping diapers is helpful because we have families that come in every day asking for help.
It was really fun last year, and it's always just fun to to do things, but also to do things that help the community. I'm also a social worker, so just volunteering is just in my nature. I love volunteering, and it's a great way to know more people from the Walther Hall.
Whether you're a college student or you're an adult, whether you volunteer for a weekend or you just say hey to someone that you see at the store, it doesn't take much to make a difference. For Newswatch Today, I'm Nathan Amati.
Hit by airstrikes, smashed by misfired rockets, burned by blasts, and crushed by buildings, more than 3,600 Palestinian children were killed in the first 25 days of the war between Israel and Hamas. About 30 Israeli children were killed during the October 7th Hamas rampage. ABC News states Israel blames Hamas for Gaza's death toll. The same source explains Palestinians point to the soaring casualty count as proof that Israeli strikes are indiscriminate and disproportionate. According to the World Bank, Israel-Hamas wars have led to 70% youth unemployment rate in the Gaza Strip.
Not all, but some cities in Missouri have made headlines this year by requiring a concealed and carry license to carry a firearm openly. And most recently, this has included St. Louis as its newest city to pass that requirement. This has since stirred confusion in Missouri residents, as attorney Kevin Jamison said that it didn't have to make sense, but that it's just the law. The confusion comes because open carry is legal without a permit in the state of Missouri, but with a catch. That catch being that local governments can ban the open carrying of firearms if they wish without a valid license. Jamison recommends all gun users just to get their license, as he predicts this movement to every city eventually. As well, it's also a known fact that carrying without one can be messy no matter the law.
Up next, St. Louis launches a new fund for the needy.
And we'll have a special guest come to talk about the new show coming to Evangel. All this and more when we return from this break.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seats for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
What a disaster.
You're a disaster.
This is a disaster.
You can't be ready for every little disaster, but you can prepare for a big one. Make an emergency plan today.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
The Springfield Daily Citizen reported that within the next 2 years, Andy's Frozen Custard plans to build a new home office on a 10-acre plot of land in East Springfield. With locations in 15 states, Andy's Frozen Custard is the world's largest dessert-only franchise. Andy's added 22 new stores in 2023 for a total of 144 locations. The Custard Company plans to add 25 to 30 locations next year. Despite their incredible growth, the owner said he feels connected to Springfield. Cameron Lee is standing by with a special guest. Cameron?
Thank you, Lilia. Evangel is headed straight into the opening of the newest theater play, The Matchmaker. And with us today to talk more about it is Olivia Ingemels. Thank you for joining us today, Olivia.
For having me.
So, Olivia, what is the new play? I know it's called The Matchmaker, but what is the story behind it?
So it is this beautiful, comedic, chaotic show about this man named Horace Vandergelder, and he decides that he wants to marry. So he employs the help of Dolly Levi. She's a matchmaker, and she puts all of these things together to help him find a wife in the end. And there's a couple different side stories that are happening, several characters, and at the beginning it doesn't seem like they're connected at all. And then at the end they're all connected, and you're like, whoa, like you don't even see it coming.
That's super cool. Mm-hmm. So I know you're in the play, and I think you're the lead. What is your role?
So I am Dolly Levi. I get to play the matchmaker. She's always scheming, always knows everything that's going on. It's super fun.
What's your favorite thing about playing her?
Well, I've never played a role like this before. I have always played younger roles, so it's been really exciting and fun to just discover the depth of maturity that she has and the authority. She just commands the stage every time she walks out there, so that's been super fun.
That's so fun. Mm-hmm. Well, you said you've never played this role before, which means you've probably played other roles.
Yes.
How long have you been doing theater, even outside of Evangel?
So I've been doing theater since 7th grade, and I realized that's 10 years, so half of my life I have been doing theater. Yeah, but it's super fun.
Well, what do you think is probably one of your favorite roles to have played?
My senior year of high school, I played Winnie Foster in Tuck Everlasting. That was my first real lead role, and she's an 11-year-old girl, so it was very fun. It was very lighthearted. She's very curious, so I really just got to do my own thing.
That's awesome. Well, did you always want to do theater in college after high school, or how did that come about?
So actually, I knew I wanted to do education, but I did not ever think I wanted to do theater. And that show, senior year, really got me. And I was like, I can't not do this for the rest of my life. So God just opened all the right doors, and now I'm here.
Yeah. So what is your full major? What is your major?
Theater speech education. So
Okay.
I want to teach high school theater.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you think, who do you think was probably a big role model in your life to get you to that point, that decision?
My high school theater teacher, for sure. He is the most patient, kind, forgiving man I've ever met, and he was fun, and he made everyone feel seen and heard, and it was, yeah, he's incredible. So I really want to take all of the things that I learned from him and here to, like, in my own classroom.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to pull the focus back to the show, Coming to Evangel. Beyond just your role, what do you think is probably your second favorite role of all the characters on the play?
I don't know. There's a lot of really funny roles. Cornelius and Barnaby, to be specific, they are hilarious. They're so funny. They're Mr. Vandergelder's clerks, and they're so entertaining. All of their lines are hilarious. They have everyone rolling the whole time.
I don't know if you can tell us without kind of giving the story fully away, but what kind of part do they play in being his clerks?
So they decide that they want to leave New York at the same time, or leave Yonkers to go to New York at the same time that Mr. Vandergelder does, but they all don't know that that's happening. And they decide they want more adventure in their lives, that they are tired of living under Mr. Vandergelder's rules and everything. So they all end up at the same place at the same time, and there's a big scene where they're like hiding from Mr. Vandergelder, and it's hilarious.
That's awesome.
So funny.
Okay, well, so the show is starting. When is opening night?
Tonight.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's really exciting. So how many nights is it running? Where can we get tickets? Tell us stuff like that.
Yeah, so we have it tonight, Friday, and Saturday, all at 7 p.m. in the Barnett Theater, so in the Fine Arts Building. And you can buy tickets online. We have them on the theater website, or you can buy them at the door.
I know that you said that this show is probably one of your favorites because the character that you're playing is. How long do you think the show is running, and do you think it's really worth coming to see?
So it is a play, which means it's about 2 hours. We ran last night at 2 hours and 5 minutes, so it's kind of a lengthy one, and then there's a 15-minute intermission in there, but it's so worth it. It doesn't feel long. There's 4 acts in it, so 2 before intermission, 2 after, and it really feels like it's like keeps its pace the whole time. So it's very entertaining, absolutely worth it. We find God's truths in it, which is, you know, different from other theater programs. But it's definitely absolutely worth going.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for joining us today, Olivia. Let's go back to the desk with Lilia and Aubrey.
Thanks, Cameron. So Aubrey, what's the weather looking like for the rest of the week?
I know we've had some cooler weather and you've had to bring out those heavy jackets lately, but it is going to get just a little bit warmer before we finally hit that really, really cold weather that's coming later. So we'll definitely have to take a look at that in the forecast.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211, get connected, get help.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
Hi, I'm Aubrey. Welcome to Weather Watch.
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
In Little Rock, Arkansas, the Arkansas Department of Transportation is gearing up to face the impending winter chill. RDOT's winter weather strike team carried out a comprehensive emergency preparedness drill on Tuesday, October 31st. This drill is a vital exercise in making sure that the state's equipment and personnel are ready for this winter season. Tim Coyd, a member of the team, emphasized the importance of this drill. He stated essentially that they're just trying to make sure everyone is comfortable with the equipment and inspect their routes to see if anything has changed over the year. Arkansas residents can rest assured that the Department of Transportation is putting in the work to keep the road safe during this winter season. It seems like it's going to be really cold throughout this area, but hopefully it can get a little bit warmer.
Well, she kind of mentioned it, but Aubrey, can you tell us any more about that?
We can definitely take a look at that. Thanks, Cameron and Lilia. So we can see our current conditions are sunny and 34 degrees, so a little chilly, just like what we've had earlier this week, but our humidity is down to 68%. For our conditions this Thursday, it is going to be a high of 60, so much warmer than we've had last week, and it is going to be sunny with that humidity staying around the same. For today's almanac, we can see a low of 37 degrees and a high of 60 degrees, so warmer than last week, but still a little bit chilly and still a tiny bit windy. We can see the precipitation has risen to 0.12%, so the rain that we had last week has definitely made that go up a little bit, but it is going to be slightly drier than what we've had. And we can see on our satellite that some of that weather that we did have this last few weekends has slowly moved to other states. So our weather it's pretty dry, it's pretty clear, and pretty sunny, even if it is going to be slightly chilly. We can see the more drastic weather coming in from northwest as there is more precipitation up there, but prepare for it to be mostly dry here in our Springfield area. Let's take a look at our radar. For our radar, we can see that precipitation in the northwest, but here in our Springfield area, it is fairly dry, and we can see that that cold front that we had has moved on to the east. We can see that some of this warmer air is coming up north to affect our area, and it is going to be warmer near the 50s and 60s instead of the lows that we had that went down to 25 degrees last week. For our national forecast, you can see that front that had come in previously last week and that precipitation up in those northwestern states, but you can see that it is clear and it is going to be pretty sunny and dry these next few days. Our current Missouri temperatures, you can see, aren't as warm. This morning it was 35 degrees, and we do have a high around 42 degrees in Kansas City, but it is going to get warmer later this week. For our 6-day forecast, you can see those lows of 45 to 50, 56, moving on into the mid-50s, and then our highs moving on until it gets higher into the mid-low 70s later next week. And we can see it is partly cloudy for most of this week. We'll get back to that later on the final forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Aubrey. You know, Lily, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little sad that it's starting to warm up. I just love fall. I want the cold weather to stick around.
Yeah, I do like cold weather, but it was a little bit too cold for my comfort. Just around the corner, Preston Rosenberg will be here to give us the latest in sports.
This and more when we return.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe, start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211, get connected, get help.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get ready for pizza that is true to DiGiorno's promise and most definitely is not delivery. The company's Thanksgiving pizza is perfect for people who don't feel like cooking for the holiday. Toppings include the most popular flavor of turkey, but also sweet potatoes, green beans, cranberries, and crispy onions. The pie even has gravy. If you need some time to think about it, that's okay. You can only get it on the DiGiorno's website and it's already sold out. But the company promises it will release more for pre-order every Wednesday until Thanksgiving at noon Eastern Time. You know, I don't think that DiGiorno is the only thing going through some changes and updates recently.
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of changes happening in the world of sports. Preston, what can you tell us about that?
Lilia, it's been a busy week in sports, so let's get to it. The Texas Rangers are your 2023 World Series champions. Wednesday night, the Rangers found themselves on the opposite side of a no-hitter through 6 innings, but with a late rally, the Rangers claimed their first ever World Series title in Game 5 of the series. Corey Seager was named the World Series MVP. Wednesday night, the basketball world lost a legend. Coach Bobby Knight of Indiana University passed away at the age of 83. Knight coached the Hoosiers for 29 years, leading them to 3 national titles as well as 902 career victories. Knight was also a 2-time gold medalist coach and an 8-time Big Ten Coach of the Year. The first wave of college football rankings have been released, with the Ohio State Buckeyes claiming the #1 spot. The former #1 Georgia Bulldogs dropped to #2, with Michigan at #3. This year will be the last year until the college football playoff expands to the 12-team format rather than the current 4-team bracket. On Tuesday, the Valor men's basketball team tipped off their 2023-2024 season. The Valor faced off William Woods in their first ever KCAC matchup of the year. The Valor men fell short of a second-half comeback, losing 86-76. Their next matchup is Monday at the Ashcroft Center. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Preston. You know, something that Preston didn't mention, but I feel like needs to be talked about, is Kirk Cousins. He is out for the season. He's the quarterback for the Vikings, and he tore his Achilles.
Yeah, this team will really suffer.
Yeah.
When we get back, the deer show their hunger.
And Aubrey is with us for one final look at the forecast. This and more when we return.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Baby, you see, I can't
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We had this like deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
A restaurant in New York, most commonly known for saving people a buck, put a whole new meaning to the word when a full-grown deer came crashing into the lunchtime rush. Surveillance footage shows the deer charging into the crowded restaurant, prompting diners to scatter. After crashing through the front window, the wild animal took a stroll through the dining area, back through the kitchen, and all of that before making an exit through the back door, being held open by a very brave employee. No one was harmed in the incident, and to make light of the situation, the restaurant offered a $2 mac and cheese on the menu for the following day after the jump scare. Could you imagine just be eating your mac and cheese, your dinner, you're saving money, and all of a sudden a deer is in the restaurant with you?
I know, that's so crazy. I cannot imagine a live deer coming in while I'm eating. I know. That's ridiculous. Aubrey, can you tell us any more about next week's weather?
We'll definitely take a look at that. We can see on our 6-day forecast that it's going to be mostly cloudy this entire week. We can see the lows are going to rise as well as our highs, and it's going to be much warmer than it has been in these last few days. We can see our highs moving to the low 70s, so be prepared for that sort of weather and a few clouds coming in. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Aubrey. Well, that's all for us today. I'm Cameron Lee.
And I'm Lilia Parks. This has been Newswatch Today. Please join us next week. For more on EU TV and the latest evangel news, go to euvalormedia.com.